thus far. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the context of how this interacts with what COSTEP does. So for those who are not familiar with us, we are the Council for South Texas Economic Progress, also known as COSTEP. We are a regional economic development organization. We cover what the area we call Rio South Texas, which includes the area there in the middle of the globe. And what we call Rio South Texas is 7 counties here in South Texas. They go from Brownsville all the way to Webb County, Laredo. And it also includes the 10 municipios that are on the other side of the border, including the one in Nuevo Leon and the majority of them that are in Tamaulipas. The reason we include those in there is because what I do the majority of my time is I am actively marketing the region to entities that are outside of the state of Texas. Some within the state of Texas, but for the most part outside the state of Texas. In addition, we work with our partners in Tamaulipas and some other industry professionals in Tamaulipas to also promote ourselves to Mexico as well. And that was a fantastic presentation by Andres. Very, very informative. I liked it because it gives me the information I need to have moving forward when I speak to companies looking to move to the area and what we call site selectors. So a lot of large companies that are looking to relocate to wherever they're going to relocate to, they don't necessarily do the legwork themselves. They'll hire a consultant to do that legwork and figure out where's their best location going to be at. That, in essence, is what they call a site selector. I work with a lot of site selectors. I'm in contact regularly with them, and I'm working with a couple right now on a couple of different projects that they're interested in locating. They haven't decided where within the region in South Texas they want to be at. That's the part that we play. That's the part that I play. They're not sure if they want to be in Pharr, not sure if they want to be in Brownsville, Laredo, you name it, you have it. My job is to at least get them here to the area. Once I get them here to the area, then we can figure out where they need to be. What's their best city, what's the best location for them. So, let me back up here a little bit. So the reason I put this slide up here is because when I go to conferences and I do my outreach efforts in other parts of the country, I will often sit with people who think realistically that in their mind, South Texas is San Antonio. And they don't know that anything south of San Antonio exists. And when I tell them there's 4 hours of drive time south of San Antonio, they're amazed. You know, they just don't know that the area exists. And what they do know the area that exists, it's not necessarily a positive correlation based on national media and the things that you hear there. So the reason we have that slide there is because I like to look, this is where we're at in the globe. And I'll get to some connectivity and the other things here in a minute, but I always stress to everybody that there is life south of San Antonio. Not only is there life south of San Antonio, there's opportunity, really good business opportunity. Again, Tamaulipas, Nuevo Leon, and of course us there, we really leverage the advantages of being on the Mexican border as much as we possibly can. We're in a very, very unique situation. A lot of companies, we spoke about friendshoring, medshoring, nearshoring, however you want to call it, as Andres mentioned. We talk about that. Some companies still want to have a presence in the United States and be as close to Mexico as they possibly can. That is an advantage that we have that most areas of the country do not have. These numbers here. If you look at the populations here, the total region is almost 3.7 million. Again, most people don't even know that we exist or that there's anything south of San Antonio. When they find out there's 3.7 million people in the region that we call Rio South Texas, it is an eye-opener, to say the least. All of a sudden, the wheels start turning. How can I get down there? Who am I going to hire? Do you all have labor? What does your infrastructure look like? Just throwing these numbers out to these people automatically gets those wheels turning and gets the discussion moving. Then we start talking about, well, how do we get highway connectivity? All those arrows there, frankly, we could draw arrows all over the country. And then, of course, we include the major ports of Mazatlan, Manzanillo, Las Cardenas, all those connectivity points in there. Again, I've got these people to start thinking, why haven't I considered South Texas before? Right? They start thinking about, okay, what are my risks? How am I going to get, if I'm in South Texas, what are my risks of actually locating there? What am I up against? Connectivity. No risk there. We've got plenty of it. We've got plenty of connectivity to the major ports. The Pacific side, we have ports on the Texas side, we have our own port of Brownsville. And I believe he showed there's this talk about building a railroad that goes all the way across southern Mexico dedicated flight from Dallas to McAllen. I was like, guys, there's flights to Dallas, McAllen 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. I haven't checked the schedule lately, but there's several a day. Same thing with Austin. I met with a high-tech guy at a conference a few months ago. He's like, well, I really want to be in Austin. And I said, well, you know, I've got direct flights to Austin every day. 4, if not more. You want to go to Harlingen? They've got direct flights out of Harlingen now too. So anyway, the connectivity's there. We always include our cargo partners here because obviously they're not just going to be flying themselves down. They sometimes need to fly merchandise, equipment, that kind of thing. Then our seat connectivity. I briefly mentioned the Port of Brownsville right now. The Port of Brownsville right now is going under some development. They just developed a brand new industrial park that's open for business. Infrastructure's in the ground. They have their first tenant. The Port of Harlingen, not a deep sea port, but it is a cargo port nonetheless. They're open for business. They have available property that people can go in there and develop. And of course, the Port of Matamoros, which is developing. Run into a couple of snags here lately from what I understand. Where I'm going with this is we're not lagging behind anybody. The only disadvantage we may have is the Port of Brownsville is not a container port, but there's a container port within 300 miles. So our connectivity is there. Here's the interesting part. On the what I call the bookends of our territory, or our region, Brownsville and Laredo, we have rail access into Mexico, which is not something that is found in a lot of regions in the country. This opens up a lot of doors. And I briefly met with some folks in CPKC not too long ago. We have opened the doors of communication. We're trying to keep those doors of communication open. They're aware of the potential and the business potential behind this. And now that I mentioned business potential, a lot of the partners we work with, they're on board with this because they see the ability to generate more revenue for their particular railroads, their shipping, their air flights, their air container, their shipping containers, you name it. So then we get to the industrial parks. Again, right, I'm talking to these people and, I've got the wheels turning, like, hey, let me start considering South Texas. Where am I gonna set up shop at? Because in their minds, remember, San Antonio was the end of the earth as far as state of Texas goes. So they're already thinking like, well, how am I going to set up my business? Is it going to be in the field with some cattle and horses? And are there going to be deer hunters around me taking out deer and that kind of thing? Little do they know the sheer number of industrial parks that we have here in the Rio South Texas area that are outfitted, ready to go. Some of them may need a little more work than others. But the fact that we have industrial parks with a ton of available property speaks volumes for our ability to adapt and bring in new industry to the area. Then we talk about, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Some folks have asked me, it's like, what industry are you focusing on? It's like, well, I'm not really focusing on industry so much as I am light manufacturing and something that's going to be a little bit more on the advanced manufacturing side, right? I don't know, I'm not necessarily sure that anybody here wants to see smokestacks and that kind of thing in their backyard, right? So we haven't really run across that yet. When we do, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But you gotta play to your strengths. So when I'm out promoting the area, I tell everybody, these are the people who set up shop already. It's almost as if somebody's trying to talk you into moving to a new neighborhood. It's a new neighborhood you've never heard of, you don't know a soul that lives there. Your first question is like, what kind of people are living there? What can I expect to find? So that's why we include this information there. Automotive, and this is throughout the region. Mind you, and a lot of them are here in Pharr. I'm not trying to single out Pharr, make everybody, oh right, I didn't think I'd fill the 20 minutes and now here they're getting ready to pull the gauntlet. Anyway, these are some of the partners in the area, right? It's just like, again, you're moving to a new neighborhood, you don't know anybody there, who lives there, what can I expect to find? These names speak volumes for what the local economic development corporations have been able to do to get established here in the area, and the quality of the businesses that are here in the area that have set up shop and making a really good go. Again, who here hasn't heard of LG, Nokia, Black & Decker, Emerson? They've set up shop here. They've made a really good go of it. Aerospace. A people think, well, you put an aerospace in there because SpaceX is here. Well, long before SpaceX even set up shop here, most of these companies were already in the area. Especially GE, they've been a strong partner here in the area for a long, long time. Of course, medical. This is a sector that I really, really like to really start moving on, and we're kind of making some efforts towards that, but we're not singling out that just yet. So if you know, as you say, so how are you getting these people down here? Once again, we go to our trade shows, we go to our conferences, that kind of thing, but we also have a website, costep.org. If you go to that website, we have a ton of data on there. We have a available property listing that has, I think right now, 1,000 properties, something along those lines. This is a site selector focused kind of site, right? And we're working on some data sets that are gonna be a little bit more user friendly for the general public right now. But the site that we have, it's really geared towards the site selectors. The reason I bring that up is really truly, guys, site selectors they're data nerds. Before they even get on a plane to come down here, they're gonna look at all the data that is available for the area. Because we can tell them, well, we've got available workforce, and we've got this, we've got that. They're gonna look at the data. So the beauty of our website here is you can go to a property and you can pull a report for, let's just say, this particular property and do a ring analysis on it. You can get your drive times, your populations, what's the population breakdown, what's your labor force, all that kind of good stuff. So you guys are well welcome to go visit it. If you'd like to pull reports on that, feel free to do so. You can print these. This is one that I pulled up for an example. As a matter of fact, Ms. Cantu's here with us. Is this property still available?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, that's my face on there, but I can get you in touch with the people who are supposed to be on that particular flyer. Nevertheless, you can print flyers, whatever it may be. It's coming real handy for me. People will call me, hey, what do you got going on? I'm thinking about this, thinking about that. I'll go in and pull a list of 3, 4, 5, 6 different properties, put them in a link, send them off. We're able to look through it. And of course, other part of our efforts are that we actually bring people down. We actually get site selectors to come down and do tours of the area, what we call FAM tours, or familiarization tours. This last year we partnered with Pharr Economic Development Corporation. They did a lot of heavy lifting for us in getting the tour organized. We were able to tour several properties, several businesses here in Pharr and in Reynosa. And I will tell you that even the site selectors, some of them are a little apprehensive about going across, but once we get them across and they see the quality of the warehousing and the manufacturing facilities and what the area offers, it's an eye-opener for them. And they're sold. That doesn't mean that they're gonna come, get a business located here in the next 6 months, but the whole idea is to get our name on the map. And what I mean by map is plant a seed in their head that this is a viable option for them. So that was our last FAM tour. It went over very, very well. I hope Pharr EDC agrees, but nevertheless, and we get some coverage. I know the Rio Grande Valley is here. Texas Border Business was here a little while ago. I think they're still here. Mexico Industry is a big partner of ours in promoting in Mexico. But that for us, it's promote, but also back it up with the data and back it up with the work that needs to be done to get people down. And I believe, did I make it?
You made it.